Welcome, everybody. So as you can see, just by launching our app will open automatically to our orders page. So if you look over on your right-hand side at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a profile icon. We'll click that. Okay, and that takes us to our profile. The reason we're here today is to discuss the Baker Quote Hub, and it literally is the heartbeat for bakers. You get your Quote Hub correct, it is going to make quoting a breeze. So when you first get onto Got Cakey, the most important thing is that you open your quote categories tab, and you'll see that that is the third square along. So we'll tap on quote categories. Within quote categories, so you can see we're in our quote hub, and that is split into two parts. So you'll see just halfway down the page, you'll see a tab called quote categories with a number 12 in the bracket, and then to the right of that you'll see quote templates with a 19 in brackets. The first thing that all bakers should do when they get onto the Got Cakey app is start filling their quote categories. Let me explain what quote categories are. So if you could imagine giving a quote for a cake or any job for that matter, a quote is generally split into key components of doing that task. Well, quoting on for cakes or other sweet goods on Got Cake is no different. So what we have done to make it easier is we have set within quote categories the core categories for cakes, cupcakes, and also biscuits. So what you need to do is the first thing is you jump in. Let's take cake flavors, for example. This is where you jump in and you set what cake flavors that you have available within your business. Now, every baker is going to be different. So don't feel that you have to do exactly the same as what you see here on the screen. And just a little disclaimer, I am not a baker, hence why we built this app. So we have pre-populated it with just some random information that may or may not be the same as what you have on offer in your baking business. So I just want to show you here, for example, you'll see that under cake flavors, we have 13 cake flavors, and we do provide some standard options. And also at the bottom here, you'll see we also have some premium options. So your standard options are, for example, chocolate, lemon, pink champagne, and then the ones that are a little bit more time consuming or a little bit more rare have been priced as premium options. So that just means that when a buyer receives your offer, if they choose, let's say, vanilla, which is a standard option, it won't add any additional money onto the base price that you set when you do your quote. But if they choose cookies and cream or almond and poppy seed, for example, which does attract a premium price, that particular price you see on the right-hand side will add to your base price. And we will get to base price shortly. So just the key takeaway here is all of the key elements within baking a cake, cupcakes, or biscuits, we want you to populate with all of the options that you have on offer. Don't stress. At a later stage, when you build your quote templates, you will be able to choose which options you want to offer to your buyer. So for now, the most important thing, if we just go back to all of our quote categories, the most important thing is you go along and you populate your standard and your premium options within each of these categories. Also, just so you know, that there is the option down the bottom in the purple link to create a new category. So as mentioned at the start of this little reel, we have set you the key categories that make up the three items that we offer on this platform. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to go and create another quote category. So for example, you may be super arty and crafty and you may want to offer party loot bags to go with the cake that you have obviously successfully won and fulfilled. So you can actually go through here and click that purple button, create a new category, so that when you send your offer to your buyer, they get the opportunity to add loot bags to their order as well. So just to reiterate that, guys, make sure that you are populating those categories. Once you have populated your categories, then we switch over to the quote templates. So quote templates it's like presets. If you think of radio channels in your car, it's easy to press the number 1 button and that takes you to your favorite radio station. It's quite similar here with our quote templates. We ask you to set up your quote templates right at the start. So set up your categories, fill them with options, and then build some core quote templates for you to be able to use to price jobs that come through on the platform. So as you can see here, our quote templates are arranged into cakes. Scrolling. We also then have cupcakes and we also have biscuits. So as I mentioned previously, this is a fake account built for the purpose of just educating people, but we've tried to be as accurate as possible. So you will see here, let's just go to the 4th one down, for example. It is a round cake, 1 tier, single barrel. Our single barrel is defined as 3 layers, and it's a 5-inch buttercream type of cake. So if we click into that, you can see here that you'll see here cake flavors, that within this particular type of cake, we offer buyers the choice of all of our standard flavors as well as our premium options. We also offer our buyers icing types so they can choose what they want, and so forth and so forth. Okay. Now, you may decide, look, for this particular cake, we don't want to offer our buyer with, let's just say, cookies and cream. We can edit this quote template. We can go down and we can say, right, we don't want to offer cookies and cream. So we can turn that off. We might go through and say, okay, on our icing type, we also don't want to offer cream cheese frosting on this particular order. And it might just be because you don't have any at the time, there might be a shortage of it, or it just doesn't go with this particular cake that the person is looking for. So you can turn that off. I'm going to keep it on, obviously, because that was my quote preset. And then we can save the changes. So as you can see, there's a lot of options that go into a quote. But one of the important things, right, is by strategically setting up your quote templates based on cake shape, the number of barrels, the number of tiers, and also what size your cake is, the only thing that really differs in that particular cake is the theme. So if you're smart, you can actually set one quote template up for 10, 20, 30, or even 40 or more cakes, because the only thing that differentiates them, as long as all of those, the size and the structure and the shape is the same, the only thing that really differentiates them is the theme. So that is where I'm saying think really carefully when you set up your quote templates. Set them up in a way where you have all of the options that you have on offer at that time, and also be really detailed in the actual themes that you offer for your cakes. So that way, that one quote template could suffice for 30 or 40 different cakes. So it saves you a lot of time. Okay, so let's get out of that. So right now we have spoken about quote categories, which is here. Let's just go into that at the moment. Let's go to cake fillings. So in here we have cake fillings. As you can see, we have a lot of cake fillings in there. At any time, we can go in and, let's just say that there is a shortage of cream cheese. So we may go in and choose to delete cream cheese if that is an option we just don't want to have in our pantry anymore. But generally speaking, the more options that everyone has within their categories, the better. Fill up your quote categories with everything. It is literally like having a full pantry at home, at your disposal to make whatever cake that you want. So it makes complete sense to really take the time and fill out your quote categories so that when you go to make your quote templates, that you can have everything possible within there and you can turn them on or off at any point. So thank you very much for listening. There are far more videos there or here on our YouTube channel to take a look at. Thank you so much for being a part of Got Cakey. And if there is any particular video that you would like us to make for you, please reach out to us at support@gotcakey.com.